C2 Wrestling Podcast. The boys are back. The three amigos in action. This Saturday, we have Survivor Series. One of the big four, big five, whatever you want to call it, WWE PLE. Good luck trying to find where it streams on. Good luck paying for it because a whole lot of bullshit to get there. We have two War Games matches. We have John Cena's second to last ever appearance. And we have the greatest of all time going for the Women's World Championship. A stacked card that we will break down with our predictions, the tiebreakers, the defending champion, the honorary Oos of C2 Wrestling. Alec is here, and we will start with him. I don't want to ask how you're doing today. I want to ask, how nervous are you today?
I haven't been nervous at all. Not even a flinch in my eye. I haven't
Yeah,
lost
yeah.
sleep.
Let's see the hand. Put
Yeah,
that hand
yeah,
down.
yeah,
You
yeah.
shaking a
Let's
little
see.
bit?
Let's
Yeah.
see. Yeah,
Nothing.
I think
Nothing.
so.
Yeah, I know those elbows are resting. All right.
Yeah, yeah. I know you're flexing as hard as you can to try not to show. Yeah.
Nah, this belt's gonna stay warm here, and it's going to continue to stay warm even until after Mania.
Oh,
Ooh.
that's bold.
So this is your third title defense you are going for.
Yeah.
You are the inaugural C2 Wrestling Predictions champion. Won it at SummerSlam. Snowden and myself weren't too far off. Patty V had the first crack at it. Snowden and myself got the second crack, and we tied. And I'll throw it over to you, Snowden. Is that tie still in the back of your mind? Alex got a strong champion's advantage, and
Strong.
he deserves it, as the champion
Mhm.
should. Having that tie in the second one, does that make you nervous that we're going to tie again?
You know, it doesn't. Because we're going into specifically Survivor Series War Games. This is a shit show of a prediction PLE to make, for good or for bad. It could help one of us, it could hurt one of us, but there's only four matches, but there's a hell of a lot going on, a lot of tiebreakers in between. So this is that one PLE a year, maybe two, considering the Rumble as well. But those two PLEs are anyone's game.
I was just about to say, if Alec makes it out of War Games still champion, I won't be as impressed as I would be if he makes it out of the Rumble still
Yeah.
champion, because that is going to be, we're going to be who's the first entrant, who's the second entrant, who's the 15th entrant, who's number
Yeah.
30, who's the runner
Yeah.
up.
And
That's
that's
going to
for
be,
two Rumble
yeah,
matches.
that's for
Yeah.
two
Yeah.
Rumbles. And then I'm sure one of the other two matches will be like a multi-person match and or a tag match. It's who gets pinned, who does the pin. That's going to be a nightmare. But first, before we even get there, as I now realize I have not started a clock, I'm going to start the clock now and give myself some leeway so I know exactly where we're at this Saturday. We're live for it, so come hang out, watch the show, our live reactions. I think we got to start with the greatest of all time, and it's not John Cena. We have
Natalia's
a
not on the card. I don't know what you're talking about.
that's the boat. That's the best of all time. We have the Women's World Championship match. Stephanie Vaquer defending against Nikki Bella. I'm not even going to ask who you guys are going to pick because the answers are going to be so easy and short. We're all going to be on Nikki. No. I know we're all most likely going Stephanie. So I guess I'll phrase it a different way. We do have a tiebreaker, and it's what's the second match on the card. So, Champ, I'll start with you. Do you think this is going to be the second match?
Uh, hmm. I could, man, this is tough. I go back and forth. Um, because the opening match, I go back and forth too.
Really?
I feel like they could
Interesting.
do I feel like they could do the women's war games match like opening up the show. I know they probably don't want to pull up the cage twice, but it's the beginning at the end. But yeah, I mean I guess I would say it go second. I feel like it's a safe spot to be on. I feel like the opening of the show should be Cena, Dom, so to get the crowd into it. So
I like that. I like that. I feel like,
Interesting.
I mean, I feel like it's kind of similar to the Rumble where you just assume one's going to open, one's going to
Yeah.
close, but it doesn't always go like that. Like,
No.
like I look, we know the men's war game is going to main event. Like we know that for sure.
Yeah.
But we do have plenty of times where you think of like the Rumble a couple years ago, where everyone was like, "Why isn't the Royal Rumble the main event?" And it was Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns, and everyone was
Yep.
pretty confident Roman Reigns is going to retain here. Why isn't this the main event? It's not impossible that we get that for the start of the show. I mean, Cena's opened a fair amount of shows as well. I mean, Raw every week he's open.
Yep.
I think the women's War Games is going to open, and then they go Nikki versus Stephanie. But at the same time, I'm like, are they really going to do the first two women's matches and the first two men's matches? Are they not going to try to split it up? So I'm going to say yes, it is the second match. But I feel like you looked at this question on paper and it seemed so easy to answer. And then you start thinking about it and you second guess about 10 times.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, we were gonna go with our typical first match to open the show, which I guess we could have because Alec was gonna maybe pick differently. I was under the immediate assumption that Women's War Games opens the show, Men's War Games closes the show. I had the same sentiment that you just mentioned, Chris. Is it gonna be women's match, men's? Are they gonna stagger the matches? War Games is also an hour-long match, if not close to it. So to run that, and then the women's, it's just a little long for that. I don't know. I really don't know. You guys both got Stephanie and Nikki going second. It kind of makes me want to choose John and Dom to go second because then it's a little different. But I think that is the co-main event, John Cena and Dominic. I'm gonna stick with my original thought. Nikki Bella and Stephanie are second on the card.
And I do want to give this match some actual attention. I'm not just going to brush
Yeah.
on over it. I know Snowden loves the sound of that. But
Yeah, so we're
Snowden,
moving on, right?
yeah,
We're gonna to the next
Snowden,
match.
he's been Snowstradamus when it comes to the women's uh, booking the women's division. So, Snowstradamus, I'll ask you. We think Stephanie wins here. Do they face again? Does this get stretched to the Rumble? You know, Nikki is heel now, so it is a little bit different. Or are we just looking at this is the match, it ends, and then maybe Nikki does a match with Maxine and then goes to the Rumble and then goes on a swan song or something?
I mentioned a few weeks ago when this like really became official. It might have been around Nikki's heel turn that I can see them facing twice. I can see this match happening again. I don't really know where it squeezes in. Considering the Rumble coming up, it's John Cena's Saturday Night's main event. There's not really another event in between all that, so it could happen on a Raw. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know if I expect it to happen on a Raw. Uh, Stephanie is getting a notch in the belt. They're changing one of those little jewels to red, essentially for Stephanie. And that's great, I think. I think that's kind of the point here is not only for her to get a win, it's not like she's beating anybody. It is somebody that's established at least within the WWE. So it's a good notch in the belt for Stephanie. It is a little hard to predict what's next, though, because this was never supposed to be what's next. Again, we're still off the back of Naomi dropping the title. So it is a
Yeah.
little bit hard to predict the exact women's title. I've been pretty on the money with Maxine, the IC title, a lot of things going on. I did call the Nikki heel turn too. I could see them facing twice, though. I think I'll lock it in that they face twice.
Lock it in for two. You think so, Al? I just like, not that I love Nikki. Not that I'm like, oh, this is a story that needs them to face twice or needs them to face three times. I genuinely have no idea who Stephanie would even face right now if it just ends right now with Nikki. It kind of feels like they might just run it again just to kind of tread water.
Yeah, I could honestly see a triple threat type of like her chasing, and then another wrestler comes involved in it, and then if she loses, she's gonna want a rematch or some sort, and then I could see like Becky Lynch, like to really put that extra level to Stephanie. If she ends up beating both of them, Nikki and Becky. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see them running it back. But like I said, I think maybe a triple threat in some way or form, just to spice it up a little bit rather than like the rinse and repeat as we usually see.
Yeah, I could see this being like either that top of the second hour of Raw or the main event on like the go home to the Rumble, like the main event match, and then the segment closes. And this rematch isn't on the Rumble. They close with Rumble shenanigans, but I could see it kind of slotting in there. Obviously, with Saturday night's main event being WWE
Yeah.
versus NXT, that's not going to be on there. And then on top of it, like, I mean, Snowden, we talked about it. I don't need Stephanie on that card. Like, I love Stephanie. She was just in NXT. Like
It was
this
like an
isn't.
hour ago. She
Yeah,
was in NXT.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like she's gonna face people that she like just and then on top of it too, she just went back to NXT not too long ago for whatever, what was it, NXT's like anniversary or
Yeah.
return
Yeah.
to Full Sail, whatever the hell it was. So it's like I don't need Stephanie doing that, but at the same time, it's like, well, what else do you do with her? She's the champion.
Yeah, I mean, not to go too far forward as well, but the Rumble probably also a four-match card, maybe five matches because they're doing something a little different in Saudi. But you got two Rumbles. We're getting a women's world title on the only other PLE that's four matches, and it's the PLE just before it. I would imagine Jade gets a match at the Rumble, defends her championship, and then we probably get a Cody or and a Punk match, at the Rumble on top of both Rumble matches. So it only leaves so much space for them to fit in, say, a rematch. But I do think the triple threat makes sense. Maybe you do throw Becky in the mix, and I don't know, maybe AJ fucking screws Becky again, and it's just like another layer to the story of that of not only continuing their feud, but kind of again treading water for AJ and Becky to face at the Rumble or Mania, a bigger PLE.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably going to get Brock Roman as well on the Rumble, it seems. So
Yeah.
if they're
Yeah,
that
unless
might
they're
take the
both in the
slot.
Rumble.
Yeah, yeah, unless they're both in the Rumble. Or I mean, knowing them, they could be both. Uh,
Yeah.
the only other thing I could see for Stephanie is because it is in Saudi, I could see like a Trish return and she faces Trish in that, same spot that Tiffy got
Yeah.
from Evolution, that kind of beat a legend. Saudi's paying crazy money to have a legend on the show. Like that's to me, that's like the only avenue I see for her being on the Rumble right now.
It did just kind of hit that the chamber in February is in Chicago. So you have to imagine AJ Lee does something there. Is she in the chamber? Does she win the chamber? Is the title on the line? Is it for a title match at WrestleMania? Obviously, that's a little bit of ways out, but that can kind of help determine where they're really going and what we're saving the time for. But we'll see. Point is, Stephanie walks out Saturday night. And
Agreed.
still.
We will move on to the other singles match, which is oh my God, it's his second to last appearance. Oh my God. Honorary Uce, I'm not even joking. Like, I've just spent the last like 2 months thinking about like random Cena moments or whatever. And genuinely, one of the Cena moments, now that we have the second to last match, him against Dom for the IC title, one of the Cena moments that like constantly pops into my mind is the Punk return at Raw, where
Yeah.
I was staying over your house
Yeah.
and we're watching in your room, and like I can like vividly picture it where your TV is, where I'm laid on the floor, where you're on the bed, and Cena holding the title and the way he puts the title on top of his head, and then Punk's music hits. It's like I know that's more of a Punk
Yeah.
moment, but obviously
But
Cena's
still.
tied in. I'm just so sad, man. I'm just so sad.
It really is depressing. This is the end of John Cena. And we can see where this tournament is going at this point, and I'm very much looking forward to that match, but we are getting close. I expect this match to be great. I don't expect it to be their match on Monday Night Raw. I think it's going to be one of those, last few John Cena PLE matches like he had with AJ Styles and so on. We're going to get a bit of a banger here in San Diego, Dom's hometown, IC title on the line. They're going to pull out all the stops, I think, but man, it's hard to even think about. It's so sad. It really is so sad.
Yeah.
Think of I think of the little gif or meme of Stewie from Family Guy, kind
Yeah,
of looking into the
yeah, that's
camera,
so
turning over, and then crying at night in his bed.
I guess I'll get some sleep.
funny.
I genuinely like. I'm just sad. There's no other way to put it. You know what it truly is? It's like I don't care. People make fun of wrestling fans, whatever. Like this is a moment where I'm like, there's nothing anyone can say to me. I know, like, dude, you're a grown man crying over John Cena retiring. I don't give a shit. I'm
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. If somebody says, like, dude, you're a grown man crying over John Cena retiring, yeah, I'm a
You are
grown man
correct.
crying over John Cena retiring.
yeah,
Absolutely. That is like, this is one of those events, moments, I guess I should even say, when he does retire. The world is watching. Like that, we are not the minority here. If you're not watching John Cena retire, you're in the minority. You didn't grow up watching John Cena even a little bit. You don't have that little bit of like, oh man, I gotta go check that out. That guy's the GOAT. He's also larger than life now, too. He has a whole career outside of wrestling. Like, there's a whole crowd in that world that might want to see John Cena wrestle his final match. I expect Saturday Night's Main Event to do unreal numbers. It's kind of the problem with Saturday Night's Main Event is they'll never top this John Cena retirement one.
Yeah. Good because
Yeah,
nothing should top this John
ever
Cena
top it.
retirement.
never.
But we do have a match though. And Honore Us, I'm actually kind of torn on this. Like I was thinking about this and I like this kind of scares me that I feel like I should know the obvious answer and I don't.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there is an obvious answer, but there isn't because it's like, are you really gonna have, let's just call it out. Like, are we really gonna have Cena lose twice in a row? That's how I'm looking at it. And it's like, is he going to carry the belt over to the very last match and then end up losing it? Like, it just doesn't make sense for him to, let's say, win this and then carry the title to the last match and then, let's say, win or lose. But I just don't see it. I feel like Dom is going to win here. I think it's going to be a moment, non-wrestling aside, just to put him over. And because there is high praise about Dom, like backstage now and then Cena as well. Cena loves Dom. And if you really think about it, it's crazy. Like I was just talking about it yesterday to my wife. And I was like, it's crazy that Dom has got the last three matches with Cena, like three in a row out of the last couple appearances. And I'm like, that just says so much more about Dom than anybody than that he wrestled, throughout these last couple matches. It's more of accomplishment and just like the growth. And I know I'm going off track a little bit, but like the growth of Dom really has like, it's really inspiring to watch, like as a wrestling fan and to be like proud to watch. Because at first it's like we thought it was so forced when he came into the WWE with Ray. And he really, like, we literally have watched him grow up. Like, as much as we watched Cena grow up, like Dom, we really have watched grow up since he was a child in WWE brought in, and then to coming on the main roster and possibly having this big moment, beating Cena in his hometown. Yeah, I'm going Dirty Dom here. I think he's gonna have a huge moment here. Cena's gonna put him over. And then yeah, I'm very excited for Dirty Dom's future. And like I said, I am so excited to see the growth that he has, like from the beginning to where he is now and how over he is.
Yeah, it's a very interesting matchup. They're running back the rematch. You said you're a little indifferent, Chris. I am pretty solidified in it, actually. And still, he never should have lost it in the first place. It's still his title. Dirty Dom is bringing back the gold to the Judgment Day. I've said this too many times at this point. The IC title is infinitely secondary if defended at Saturday Night's Main Event. If Gunther or LA or Jay or Solo or whoever wins that tournament, Gunther wins the IC title at Saturday Night's Main Event, who gives a fuck? And then that person is IC champion and they're like locked into the mid card for a little bit and they have to eventually even if it's on a triple threat or multi-man match, you have to have that person lose the title to move them along. No. Whoever wins that match against John Cena is going to be skyrocketed into stardom. If they haven't been there before, great. If they have, they're going to be there again, and that is Gunther. I'm still running with the idea that Gunther wins that match, goes on to win the Rumble, goes on to probably win a championship at WrestleMania. This is an incredible rub for Dirty Dom. I do also have to mention the idea of, John Cena taking back-to-back pins in his last two matches. I get it. That is a little like, I don't want that either. I never wanted John Cena to win this IC title. Even still to this point, it's a great moment. I'm happy they did it. It's fine. But if it was up to me, I wouldn't have done it, in all honesty. I think this match still could have happened exactly how it is right now, but Dom just didn't lose the title on Monday Night Raw, and Cena could have lost that Survivor Series, and it would have been fine. Cena lost to Brock 2 months ago, and like that was literally pointless. So I don't think him taking the loss here to Dom is any less pointless than that was.
You're lucky because he's not going to get pinned in back-to-back matches because Gunther's putting him to sleep. Because Gunther's choking his ass out. He's not going to be looking at the lights. He's going to be looking at the back of his eyelids. He's going to be snoozing. I think Dom wins, and I think Dom wins in some sort of cheaty way. I think, it might even just be a roll up with the tights, feet on the ropes, something like that. Their first match, knowing now that the rematch is happening and it's one-on-one, I was watching some clips from their first match, and it just kind of felt like, oh, they're just kind of saving stuff. Like it felt like, the match wasn't bad, but it felt like they're like, let's not waste all of our bullets here. They know something bigger. There's going to be some more funny moments or funny spots, whatever. And I think we get a run in from Finn, a run in from JD, whatever. I think Dom gets the title back in some cheating fashion, in also a way where it's like Cena loses, but it's not like Dom, just squashed him or something like that. And honestly, if we're being fair here, him going into the last match as the Intercontinental Champion can't happen. It literally can't happen. Dom needs the title back. He got his accomplishment, whatever. That Intercontinental title, it would be a disservice to the rest of the roster. Because if Gunther, when he chokes out Cena, you have to look at it one of two ways. Say Cena is the champion and he faces Gunther for the title in the finals, and Gunther wins. We all know Gunther is just going back for a heavyweight title. Like we all know, yes, he holds the Intercontinental Championship high in regard, but he's chasing the world title, chasing the WWE title. We know this is as temporary as can be. And then you're in a corner. You can have Gunther lose anytime soon. Are you going to have him just vacate the title? Are you going to have him win the world title and he becomes a double champ? Like, it just feels so odd. Then on the flip side, say Cena wins and he beats Dom and he beats Gunther and they have a vacant Intercontinental Championship. Now you have a title that two of your main people couldn't even win. And it's like, all right, whoever wins this title, it doesn't matter because you're not as good as John Cena, which obviously we know, but you just immediately make that next champion kind of look like shit. So Cena has to drop the title here. He got the accomplishment. He got the Grand Slam. It was a great moment. It's in San Diego. There's a billion ways for them to have Dom win and John Cena look fine. But let's be real. Dom could squash John Cena. It doesn't hurt his fucking credibility. It doesn't hurt anything. It doesn't matter. It's fucking John Cena. At the end of the day, win or lose, Dom will win.
Absolutely. Judgment Day involvement, Grande Americanos, who knows? But I do have to emphasize your point. I don't want to say he has to. Like, if it was a 30-minute banger and Dom hits a 619 frog splash, I'm not going to complain. But it's so in Dom's character to win in some hacky, cheaty way that he has to win that way.
Yeah, how about Psycho comes out and low blows Cena? Wouldn't that be something?
That would be something, yeah.
That would be funny.
That would be something. I think there's honestly a multitude of ways they can do it. Dom's been pretty, common to throw on the mask himself. I would love a moment where Dom puts on the mask, but Cena pulls out his own mask, and throws one on or
Yeah.
something silly. Dom spins it around or something on him, low blow, gets the pin. I don't know, but Dirty Dom
That'd be
needs
funny.
that title back.
I do also have to mention though, the reason why I'm like so torn on it is because it would be so on brand of them to have that thought like, yeah, it's Cena's last match, but like there needs to be something at stake. They need to be wrestling for something. Like I could
The
just see
match,
that being their mind.
the Cena retirement match could just be for $1 million. They can just put money on the
Yeah,
line,
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. 500,000,
Yeah.
to the winner, whatever.
Terry's Invitational Tournament.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Poker chips.
Cena's cash,
Yeah.
something like that. We move on to the women's War Games match, and I'll break it down for the people who are listening. Basically, the way these predictions are going to go, we're going to predict the team that wins. We're going to predict who starts the match for both teams, who gets pinned, who gets the pin, and if someone turns. So, going to be a little bit different to how we normally do our picks. We're going to save the match winner and start with who starts the match. In the women's game, you have the heels of Asuka, Kairi Sane, uh, Nia Jax, who am I missing? Becky
Lash
Lynch
Legend.
and Lash Legend against the baby faces, Rhea, Io, AJ Lee, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair. So, honorary Uce, defending champion. We'll start with the heels. I actually did not look at the SmackDown spoiler, so I don't know who has the advantage.
Yeah,
Um,
either.
Snowden, do you know who has the advantage?
No, I did not off the top of my head. I didn't. I did see like some spoilers. I might have even seen it, but I forget off the top of my head.
I saw spoilers, but not for that. No.
Okay, so
Keeps us even.
yeah, keeps us all on a level playing field,
Yeah.
and we'll just say that the heels have the first person that comes out. They have the advantage, whatever. Who do you think starts the match for the heels?
I'm gonna go between two people and they're very different. So oh man. I'm gonna go there's a safe pick, but there's a risky pick. And I'm gonna do a risky pick. But I might do the risky pick because I want to I want to be a great champion. So this is the whole point. So I'm gonna go Lashes here. She'll be the first one to come out.
I like that.
Okay. Okay. That was your risky pick. Interesting. That is risky. Is it as risky as Becky starting the match? I think Becky's going to start it. I think there's a maybe not tension in that team, but Becky was really calling the shots, telling all the girls in that team she's better than them on Monday, blah, 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 blah. I could see them all kind of coming out and, Becky, come on, who's going out? And they all kind of get in the cage and it forces Becky to be first one out to the ring. I'm locking in Becky Lynch.
That was going to be my pick, and that is infuriating. And it's literally all on myself because I mean, I'm asking the questions. I could have just went first. But I'm not a fraud, and I'm not going to take the same pick as you because we're going to make things interesting. There's so many picks. I just wanted on record that I was thinking Becky, so we'll put a little asterisk next to this one.
Sure.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna go. I'm gonna go with Asuka. I'm gonna go that Asuka starts it.
That was my
She
choice.
she could be the main one. I actually was thinking, um, Lash and or Naya really fit the bill for that come in and clean house. Granted, every War Games match, the next person that does
Yeah.
that, but them specifically for the women's team because they're the muscle of the women's team. So that makes me kind of steer away more so from Naya than it does Lash. Like Naya fits that bill a little bit more than Lash. So I'd say
Yeah.
Lash has better odds than Naya to start the match. But I was between Becky and Asuka, and I was really leaning Becky. But Snowden had to steal my pick because he hacked into my computer and saw the ones that I had written down. So I will go with Asuka starting it for the heels.
Alec, who was your safe pick?
I was gonna go Asuka.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. That's I
Okay.
couldn't hear. I didn't hear what you said in between that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
All right. I
It's
was
kind of
the I my safe pick was Kyrie actually, the opposite of
really,
that. Yeah, yeah. I think
Interesting.
Kylie's like maybe got like the workhorse role in this one, you
I
know?
can see that. 100%.
she's got the when the baby face evens the odds, she's taking the worst shot from them. Like
All of them, yeah, yeah.
she's
Every
getting
finisher
the biggest,
twice.
yeah,
Yeah,
one
yeah.
million percent.
Riptide
I'm,
off the
I'm
top of the
looking at
cage
this
through a table.
as
Yeah.
I'm looking at this as the way my thought process why I chose her to come out first is because like earning her stripes type of moment and
Mm.
just go in there, have a good few moments, like get the crowd worked up because again, she's still working to get her main roster status. Like, yeah, she's been around for a little bit, but not enough where like people are like feeding her. So I feel like they're gonna give her some good spots and like maybe throw her out there first and then get her into the match like more. So rather than just throwing her like third or something like that.
You know, right before Becky and AJ got added to this match, Asuka was like kind of the nucleus of all of this. Like it really
Yeah.
was. I mean, you could say the Kabuki Warriors, but it really was just Asuka that was the center of all of this. So she was like the kind of like the spot that Becky just immediately took of like kind of calling the shots, kind of leading the show, has the main feud with pretty much everyone on the other team. And now obviously that changes with Becky being added. So we'll flip over to Team Babyface. And this is where it gets interesting because when you look through that five, you kind of have to do double duty here. You have to think, who do you think starts the match? But at the same time, who starts the match that makes sense with the person that you have starting the match? So it's kind of a spot where you could talk yourself out of a pick, I feel.
It definitely is. I have two people in mind. One is maybe safe. It's kind of safe. It's kind of not. I'll explain why. But I mean, I don't know if you want to go first, Chris. I don't want to steal your pick again.
Oh, no. Ladies first.
Fine. All right. Ladies first. I'm going. It's safe, but it's bold. I'm going AJ Lee because I don't really think AJ Lee starts the match, to be honest. But in the theory that Becky does start the match, maybe AJ Lee does. AJ Lee finds herself in the spot, though, of the person that comes out last. So I can very well see that happening. But I also, as we all don't, I didn't see the spoilers. I don't know who starts the show. So I do think there's also a world where, like, AJ Lee goes out to the ring first and is like, come on, give me Becky. And then Becky doesn't come out and she sends whoever else. So I'm kind of hedging my bets a little bit here, trying to
Smart.
cop at least 1 point, but hopefully I get two.
That is smart. And that also I'm glad that we're all on a level playing field because that genuinely does have an impact on
Absolutely.
your pick because it comes down to who do you have wrapping around. Alec, I'll let you go before I say who I have starting.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say it, so I'm not even gonna second guess, but I'm gonna go Alexa Bliss starting.
Okay,
So
Lash and Alexa. Okay.
yeah, just straight up. So no explanation needed, but that's that.
I am going to go with someone who I was already leaning towards, but the fact that I have Asuka starting, I may as well lean further into it. I'm going to go with EO. EO fits the bill for that long run, even for when she's has the numbers against her, can still kind of rally back in some moments. You know, she's probably going to throw the trash can on, and she should be doing that, when she's exhausted and then does the jump. So I'm going to go EO starts the match. It does kind of help that I have Asuka starting, that it like makes me feel a little more, I don't know, I don't want to say confident, but it's a little bit more likely that Io's getting her hands on Asuka one on one. She's got 5 minutes finally with her locked in a cage. That one on one match that we're still waiting on, still waiting on, still waiting on. We get it for 5 minutes. So we shift over to will someone turn in this match? Now, this is yes or no. You do not need to give the person, I mean, you can if you want to, if you have someone, but do you see someone turning on their teammates?
So to elaborate on turning, like
They're not
does
going from
Rhea has
heel
to
to
hit a riptide on Alexa Bliss or somebody, like there has to be a move done to somebody, right?
like put it this way. In my mind, when I was thinking about it, I was thinking of in the match, Becky Lynch pisses off like Lash or Naya, something like that, or Asuka, and Asuka just missed her, or Lash just gives her a big boot out of frustration or whatever. This isn't like they're going to turn and this person now goes from heel to baby face or it's some
Yeah.
dramatic. This is like fuck this person. I've had enough. And like on the
Yeah.
flip side, Charlotte just can't get over her hatred for Rhea. They work together and Rhea accidentally hits her. That's not the turn, whatever. Then Charlotte just hits her with one that she meant to. I think we'll be able to kind of as a group decide like
Yeah.
that wasn't an accidental hit or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with no. I'm gonna say there's no turn in this match. I think this is opening the show. I don't think there's any storyline that really leads me to believe somebody's gonna turn on somebody within their own team. I'm gonna go with no.
Alec,
I'm also going to go no on this one.
I will be different. I'll pick yes. I feel a little bit more towards it because of what happened on Raw with Becky and the tension that they've been teasing amongst the baby faces. And as I said, like I don't think this is a moment where Charlotte Flair turns heel on Rhea Ripley or anything like that. It might not even be the finish of the match. Actually, I think it probably isn't going to be the finish of the match. But I think there's going to be a moment where someone does something and just goes, "Oh well,
Yeah, I can see it for
sorry."
sure. I can see it for sure. I think your example of like Asuka misting somebody, it could be possible. But I also see Asuka like going to mist EO and EO ducks and it hits Kyrie, whatever. Uh, Accidental, not purposeful. I don't think it's going to happen in this match. We'll see though.
And I'm just going to say this now. This is going to be WrestleMania 31. Did they leave the cage all over again? Now that you're both against me. Uh, that was not accidental at all. That was on purpose. I can already see it now. Whatever happened, it was on purpose.
The cage
I
is
need
here. The door was out, and they're
Yeah.
on the door. They are out of the cage.
they're
Okay.
still, they haven't touched the ground outside. They're still, they're still,
What is the floor lava? They can't touch the ground.
if you knock down your door, you're still kind of in your house. You know what I mean?
Deep
Whatever.
cut. Go check out Fab Reactions.
Yeah. So we move on where these three kind of get lumped in together, where it's who wins the match, but who gets pinned slash who gets the pin. That obviously all pairs together. So I guess we'll kind of do them all at once. And in fairness, I will go first. I have the classic case where it comes to the Rumbles that it does for War Games, where you kind of put the two matches against each other and it just makes you second guess more and more because you do oh, well, if the baby faces win here, I don't know if the baby faces win in the second match. And I think the baby faces are going to win in the second match. So the heels must win here. But I don't think the heels are going to win here because I don't think the heels, like, that's essentially what I'm going through right now. But I am going to pick the baby faces to win. I am going to pick AJ Lee pinning Becky Lynch. And to kind of tie it all together, it's going to be that moment of Nia doesn't help Becky or whatever. There's that miscommunication. They're building towards this AJ Becky match. I don't think this is the moment where Becky gets her one up on AJ yet. That kind of feels like Becky costs her in Chicago at the Chamber or something like that. So AJ Lee gets Becky's shoulders to the mat, 1, 2, 3, adds to Becky's conspiracy theory, whatever. So I'm going baby faces win, AJ Lee with the pin, Becky Lynch shoulders on the mat.
That's
Or if
interesting,
she taps out.
or she taps out. I was thinking kind of the same route. I did at points think maybe Becky and that team, the heel team, win and Becky pins AJ Lee. But the women's babyface team is almost like too stacked. Not that the heel team isn't, but Lash is new. Nia hasn't been doing anything too prominent. I get Kyrie's a tag team champion, but she's not really on the same level as the women on the other side of the team in that sense. It would be kind of a stretch for that heel team to win. It very well happens, and I'm just wrong. But I'm also locking in the baby faces to win. I was going to pick AJ pinning Becky, but do I want to be different? Do I not want to be different?
I hacked your iCloud
Yeah, you must have hacked my iCloud, you
during this
fucking
time. During
pussy.
this time.
I am going to stick to my guns. AJ Lee pins Becky.
Okay. There's a lot of stories at play here. I mean, you have Rhea's tie-in, you have Io and Asuka, the tag champs, and then Charlotte and Alexa kind of still going for the tag titles. It really is more than just AJ and Becky. Like, very well, they could be thinking, we can't have them factor into this finish because their match isn't until Mania and we can build up towards it a bit. And this is, it's still too far away, whatever. Alec, who do you have?
So I'm gonna go baby faces for this one, and then I'm gonna lock in with Io pinning Asuka. Io's been my lucky charm throughout my title defenses. I've been one of the few people to to choose her multiple times, and she has come through. So I'm hoping, she shakes up the luck for me one more time and goes in for the pin here. I wanted to go for Becky AJ, but I feel like I want to shake things up a little bit, a little risky here. Because again, that I feel like that's a safe pick. I want to do a little different here on this one.
Bold for the champion. I hope you guys know when I do become C2 champion, I'm going to be the most cowardly champion of all time. All right.
Yeah, in that other alternate universe where that happens. In this one, I haven't decided if I want to be a honorable champion or a cowardly champion. Depends how I'm feeling that morning. Why should I tell you? We'll
Every
see
day is
how.
different. Who's to
Yeah,
say I'm not lying?
yeah.
Well, it's good to dream. It's good to dream,
Who's
both
to
of
say
you.
I'm not cheating? Who's to say I'm not stealing? We move on though. The main event, as we assume, the most stacked war games of all time. The heels versus the baby faces. The heels of the Vision, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, and Brock Lesnar take on Team Babyface, the All Stars of WWE Champion Cody Rhodes, World Heavyweight Champion CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Jimmy and Jay, the Usos. We have the same stipulations for this match that we did for the women's match. So, as we just did, we will start it with who starts the match. And this time, we know who has the advantage because on Raw, Logan Paul rolled up Jimmy, got the advantage for Team Heels. So, Snowden, start with you. Who starts it for the Heels since they will be coming out first?
I think it's pretty simple for the heels, to be honest. I think Logan Paul starts the match. I think he's kind of like, if you want to group this whole team as the Vision, he's kind of like the Vision fall guy right now, and that's what it was on Monday. Logan Paul pointing at everybody. "Oh, Brock's gonna be in this tag match tonight." No, is it Drew? It's Braun Breaker. It's Bronson Reed. It's me. I think Logan's gonna be kind of the guy, maybe even forced into that opening slot, and he's gonna start the match for the heels.
Alec?
Yeah, I was gonna go Logan here. I feel like Logan's a safe, good spot to throw him in there. I was either going between him or Drew.
Mm.
Um, I think one of those two, but I'm gonna lock in with Logan. I feel like Logan will definitely get thrown in there and probably get through put through a ringer through this match. Probably the worst out of everybody. So
I will put it on record that I was thinking Logan, but I'm not going to go Logan. I'm going to go with my second pick. I'm going to go with Braun Breaker. And I think I'm going with Braun Breaker for a fact of this. He's kind of been I don't even know if I could say second fiddle. He's kind of been third fiddle with how much attention Drew has gotten and obviously Brock Lesnar's gotten. I very well could see this as a moment where you have almost the opposite of what Snowden was mentioning with Becky and the heels, where the others are kind of looking at Logan, hey, you're starting the match. And Braun Breaker says, no, I'll start this fucking match. I don't need this arguing. I want to rip someone's head off. I'm ready. The dogs are barking. It feels like it's better for him to start it to put more attention on him rather than him just coming into the match because he has been that third fiddle and he really should be first fiddle for this team. So to get him that shine, get him that moment of attention, I'm going to go Braun Breaker starts the match.
Good pick. It's good reasoning too. I can
Good
see it
pick.
kind of going down that way. Yeah.
And then we'll flip over to the baby faces who do not have the advantage. As I type Logan, even though I just spent 5 minutes talking about why I'm picking Braun Breaker. Let me fix that. Cool. The baby faces. Now, they don't get the rebuttal. They do get the, whatever the fuck it is. I don't fucking know. Uh, Alec, who you got started for the baby faces? My brain's fried at this point.
I feel like this is tough. This one, I really is like you can say Jimmy, but like I feel like that's such a boring start. I feel like you got to get somebody good. Oh man, this is honestly really tough. I've been trying to think about it between the turns, and I want to go bold, like very bold here, because there are so like such good big people here. So it's like so tough. So oh man, this is tough. I'm gonna lock in very. Oh, this is really risky. Oh man, I'm gonna go lock in with Cody.
I like that.
Bold.
I like that a lot, if I'm being honest.
Bold. Very bold. I don't want to say I don't see it happening, but that is, bold. It just is. Cody is the WWE champion, starts the match. He is the guy, though, that would have that same kind of flip to Chris's point about Braun, that same almost face mentality of it. Like, give it to me. I'm the quarterback. I'm QB1. But then in the same front, I can also see, I'm QB1, Punk saying this is my team, Roman saying I'm the
Yep.
fucking big dog, whatever, I'm the tribal chief. And they're all kind of figuring it out. And 4 letters, one word. Jey Uso makes his way down to the ring. Jey
Oh,
Uso starts. Logan Paul starts. I think the first 4 competitors in the match, Jay, Logan, Jimmy, Drew. I think it's going to be team versus team essentially until the quote unquote more big dogs get involved. Let me guess, you
Yeah.
had it on record.
I'm gonna go Roman. I'm gonna go Roman.
Real bold.
Uh, I know it's bold. Thank you. Um, I was feeling Jay. I was gonna say 4 letters, 1 word. Um, but I could see just stemming from Monday night and Roman's like, I don't care who's the captain. I don't care if it's you or you. Blah blah blah. And then he just is. We think back to last year's War Games when him and Punk were in the cage, and it's who's coming out, hand in front, whatever. I could see almost the same that they do with Braun Breaker, where Cody and Punk, and there's kind of a lot of bickering, and Roman just walks out. He just doesn't even give them the chance. Doesn't even let them decide, whatever. Or maybe Cody and Punk are fighting over it. No, I'm QB1. I should start. I'm the world champion. I should start. And Roman just chooses himself. I really don't want, not just because I didn't pick either of these people, but I really don't want the start to be Logan versus Jimmy. That would be to me like just the laziest. Like, oh, you're just saving. Really, just shout out Big Jim. Like, I want the best for Big Jim. And he's getting fucking pinned on Monday in the tag match. If you just have him Starks, you're like, yeah, you sell it as you're going to be the guy that goes the distance. Like, no, you're just trying to chuck him in there because you
no.
want the big moments in the cage with Jay and Roman and Punk and Roman and Cody and Cody and no. Don't do Jimmy dirty. To me, if they have Jimmy start with Logan, it's like, man, you can just we can just start with the next two people in and just have four at that point. Let's just bounce to the next spot.
Yeah, I mean, I do think Jay is even maybe like an easy choice to start. I don't think the crowd is going to be, as electric for Logan, Jay, Jimmy, and Drew being the first four guys kind of in. I think it's going to kind of be like a let's move it along type thing. Not let's run it back, but let's move it along to get these big dogs in the match. But I feel like it just fits the bill. All these war games we've had so far, the champions have come out, if not last, close to
Yeah.
last. The big time heels have come out last, if not close to last. The real swerve of it all, and I would love for this to happen, would be if Brock and Roman started.
Oh yeah.
That
That
would
I'd
be
be
unreal. Unreal. But knowing how it all goes, I don't even know if Brock's going to be waiting in the fucking cage. Brock's going to be backstage until his
Yeah.
number gets called. Like he's not even going to be in the cage with everybody. So we'll see.
or if he is, he's gonna rip the door off before the time's even up, like he did in
And
the
push his
chamber.
way in. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's gonna do some shit with that. This is where it gets interesting when we talk about turns. We broke it down earlier. We're not saying if so and so does something to someone else, it means they are turning heel or face. I'm going to put emphasis on this. This is during the match, bell to bell. I'm going to say there is not a turn, but I could see an after the match Braun Breaker spears someone or Roman spears Cody or Punk. And that was the moment, oh, it's for you two to figure out after the match. Got his, he let it be known who he's going for, whatever. I could see that being an after the bell rings type moment. I don't think it happens inside the bell. So I'm going to say no for this match.
I had the same thought. I think if it's going to happen, it's after the match. Yeah, similar brains. I am going to go no here. I don't think it's impossible. I have a thought as to why, but that's going to play into our next tiebreaker. So I'll get to that in a little bit.
I'm going to go yes.
Ooh,
All
I
right.
think I think there are possibly maybe two during this match at
Ooh.
different moments, and I think Logan will be one of them because Logan's the
interesting.
odd man out, and he is very cocky, very conceited, and he's going to knock somebody out, do something stupid, because like, again, stealing his spotlight, that's like his persona. And then the other side, there's so many stories that can go. So I could see any of those stories, but yeah.
It's so funny that I have put myself into a blender because when this question got added, I was going to pick yes for the men and no for the women's. And I pivoted when you both went no. And in my head, I'm like, I thought it was way more likely in the men's, but maybe I just do yes for both and just try to snag a point. But then if it doesn't happen in either, then I go 0 for 2, whatever. I've just overthought this like crazy. And there's a very good chance I go 0 for 2 and just had it flipped that it happens in the men's and it doesn't in the women's. Cause like you were saying, Alec, it's way more likely in the men's than it is in the women's, especially when it comes to the egos at play and like the moments. Like, I mean, there's probably been 100 matches with these guys where they've done that to one of their tag partners or something like that during the match and either walked out or continued the match. Like that just I'm in trouble.
There's a lot of short-wired men in this match. Drew
That's a great way to
McIntyre's
put it.
Drew McIntyre claymores a lot of people that just rub him the wrong way. Logan Paul knocks out a lot of people. You got CM Punk with a lot of, back and forth. And then you got the Jay Roman, you got Roman Jay, like it's just so many possibilities. And then you got Braun Breaker who just snaps automatically. And yeah, just
Well, you got the shortest fuse of all. You got Brock Lesnar, who can do anything to
I
anyone,
forgot. Yeah.
who
Oh yeah.
like truly he could start the match, he could F5 every person in the division and Drew McIntyre and walk out, and I would still be like, he's probably still a heel. Like it just he
Yeah.
could do fucking anything.
Yeah. It's so
You know,
true.
this is real bold. I don't necessarily think this is going to happen, but Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed just turned on Seth Rollins. Like they turned on their champion, their leader of the division. Like they are really trying to establish that point that Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed are trying to make the names for themselves. So I don't think it's a 0% chance that in the match or after the match, Braun Breaker runs those ropes and hits that spear on Brock Lesnar. The only thing that holds me back to it is that then it leads to a Brock and Braun match, but I don't know if that's their goal right now. So I don't know if it's going to happen, but Brock and Bronson Reed, or Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, too many BR names in this fucking
So
match.
much.
Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker very well clear house on both sides of the field.
Yeah, you got Brawl Heyman as well, Brogan Paul, Brew McIntyre. Yeah. No, I mean, it puts me in a blender every time. Even in one of the clips that I made, I'm like watching it back. I'm like, I mean to say Brock, I say Braun. I mean to say Braun, I say
Yeah.
Bronson. I mean to say Bronson, I say Brock. I'm like, just get them all away from each other at this point. This is too much. But we go into the main part of this match. Who gets pinned? Who gets the pin? Who wins the match? And similar to the women's, but amplified. I run it through my head, and I mean this may be tipping picks for something you guys might. I'm like, well, Brock is still going for Roman, and it seems like they haven't had Brock get his like comeuppance on Roman. At the same time, I could see Roman pinning Brock. I could see Punk or Cody getting a feud set up from them, either pinning someone or getting pinned. I could see Punk is down and one person is about to pin him and he gets pulled off and another person pins him. I'm in even more of a blender when it comes to this. I have a feeling I'm going to pick the heels. I feel like the heels win, especially the baby faces have won what, the last two, maybe even three men's war games. It just feels kind of odd. Like I had it in my head. If the men's babyface team wins, it's the ultimate and then what? Like it kind of just feels like the culmination when the baby faces win. And there's not that like next story. Like, all right, Brock's mad and goes after someone. Like, okay, like who really cares? You got to think about Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker and Logan Paul. These guys are going to be going against CM Punk and Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, whatever. They got to win this match. And like on paper, even though they have Braun Breaker, or even though they have Brock Lesnar, did it again, even though they have Brock Lesnar, you've got the two main champions and one of the greatest champions of all time on your team, teamed with one of the greatest tag teams of all time. There's no way the baby faces should lose. And that's exactly why they should lose. Now, when it comes to who pins who, I'll get back to you. I
you
got no
know,
clue.
this is a hard one. Not only the who wins, but the tiebreaker itself. I kind of had the same sentiment. A couple days ago, I was thinking to myself, like the babyface team. It's again, like you said, it's both champions. It's the greatest champ of all time, a former champion, the best tag team ever. It's on paper they should, but it is exactly like you said. If they win, then what? What was kind of the point? What does it do for anybody in the match? The only thing it would do, in my opinion, is advance the potential storyline of like Roman going after Punk or Cody. But I think they can do that any which way. I think the heels kind of need the win a little bit more. I'm also going to lock in the heels. I have a little bit of a thought as to how it goes down as well, but I'll get into that with the tiebreaker. Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker have been winning. I don't see either of them losing. Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul can take a loss. Don't get me wrong. It's not going to kill them. Brock Lesnar has come back strong. Not to say he's not going to get pinned or get pinned, but I don't know if he's going to take a loss either.
Yeah, this I feel like this is very tough. This is a very tough one. Um, hmm, I've been going different so many times. I'm gonna play safe here and lock in with just the heels winning this match. Again, we've talked about it for several episodes, specifically just the Bronze. Um, they need it for building up. He should have beat Roman, which he did. Um, they should have won the tag match they had. I feel like just the build up throughout these months for those two specifically, take the other people out. For those two specifically, I think it's so important for them to get to those next level. But how this match ends is that's where I'm stumped. So I'm gonna take it back to Chris on that.
I've got what I'm going with, and I'm gonna be honest. I'm going with my heart, not my head.
Okay.
I'm gonna wrap it up going with my heart. There is one way this match should end. This is the most star-studded War Games match ever. And if you want to have that match with all of those massive names, imagine the accolade of saying, you had Brock Lesnar in a match. You had Roman Reigns in a match. You had Cody Rhodes as the WWE champion. You had CM Punk as the World Heavyweight champion. You had the greatest tag team of all time, longest reigning tag team champions of all time, the Usos in that match. But none of them got the win. The next guy, Braun Breaker, the next star, he brought the win home. He is the shining light. He is what they're building towards. Even though there's all these big names, they're focused on the present and the future. So I'm going to pick with my heart. I'm going to say Braun Breaker gets the win. I'll play it safe and say he pins Jay, and that's how they kind of further the Jay, Jimmy, Roman story, whatever, where Jay ends up taking the pin and he continues kind of his spiral. I just don't think he pins Roman yet because this Roman Brock match has kind of taken the next step. I don't think he pins Punk yet because then he's immediately going for the title, and I don't think that's his next matchup. I don't want him pinning Jimmy because I hate that. And I don't think he'll pin Cody because he's not going for the WWE title. The worst outcome to me is Brock getting the pin and like Jimmy eating the pin. Like that is just, it does nothing for no one. You have this big moment, this big PLE, your biggest names are on it, but the show ends somehow, some way. Braun Breaker got the pin for his team. So I'm going pins Jey Uso.
Ron pins Jey Uso. Okay, interesting. Again, I said my kind of theory here ties into both tiebreakers, the match itself. With somebody turning heel or turning against their team, I should say, uh, it has to be definitive in a sense. Like you said, we'll kind of discuss during the event and see. But I do see a world where Braun runs those ropes, hits a spear on whoever he does, goes for the pin, but Logan kind of sneaks in and gets the pin, or Logan pulls Braun off and gets the pin. But I also see a world where, maybe Logan goes for the pin and Braun pulls him off. Whatever order that's in, I think Brock pulls whoever's off. Brock gets the pin. And I think that pin can only be on one of two people. I'm going to go CM Punk, though. I do think Brock pins CM Punk here. I think it could be Roman, actually. I think Roman might take a pin. I think if Brock were to pin Punk, it kind of adds a layer of like, is Brock going for that title? You then have maybe say Braun Breaker kind of pissed at Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. Maybe there's a little trifecta story we got going on. Maybe Rumble is Punk versus Roman versus Brock. Maybe it's fucking triple threat that is a crazy triple threat on paper. People don't really want Roman Brock one on one, so maybe they're going to add a layer to it with Punk. That's something the fans I think would appreciate instead of just Roman and Brock itself. Maybe it's wishful thinking, but if he pins Roman, you then can set up Brock Roman one on one. So that does make a little bit more sense in that way, but it's a little bit of a bold pick, maybe. But I'm going Brock pins Punk.
I'm going to go Brock pinning Roman, and I don't think it's because Brock beat like F5'd Roman or anything like that. I think it's this is where somebody's going to do some shenanigans and end up hitting Roman. Jimmy or Jay or specifically Jay like super kicking Roman or something, setting Roman up into losing the match, going into the F5, going to Brock's arms, and then finishing off with Brock pinning Roman with Brock's music hitting the end of the pay-per-view.
Yeah,
I
I
like it.
mean, I like as we're talking, it's like I truly, again, this falls into the like hindsight's 2020. When it happens to be like, oh yeah,
Makes
of course
sense.
that was the route, makes sense. But there really is a lot of ways that they can do this. I just hope they don't kind of water it down and it's just not. They need a strong ending here. This show's too big
Yeah.
for kind of that flat moment. I did have one more question for you guys. This is not going to be a tiebreaker, but who do you think is more likely to jump off the top of the cell, Jay or Logan?
Oh,
I think Logan's the highlight reel. Like Logan is kind of going to get that real viral moment. Jay can hit a splash. It's no problem. Like it could easily, they both might, honestly.
I
But
could
I
see Jay
think,
suplexing Logan off the top.
sure, yeah, that could happen as well. I think to create that moment, to go through Twitter, Instagram, all the social media outlets, Logan hitting some sort of jump off the top to whoever is pretty likely. It ain't going to be Bronson Reed. I'll tell you that. Yeah.
Yeah, keep Bronson Reed safe.
Yeah.
Let's not
Yeah.
break that ankle again.
Those ankles again.
Those ankles again.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
that's crazy.
love a
I forgot about
tsunami.
that.
Let's not do a snap tsunami. Let's keep it
Yeah.
safe. You are in a prime role. We love you. Let's be smart here. We know Brock ain't doing a 450 off the top, so
Shooting star press. That's
yeah,
why.
he's not gonna do a
Yeah.
shooting star press there. But I don't know. I don't know why my brain just sees Jay on top of the cage, looking to the crowd. He jumps off, something like that. But Jay's a fucking big guy. Not that I mean Logan's a big guy too. It's like I mean they got the muscle in there to catch someone, but it's probably Logan.
I mean, I like you said, your brain envisions it. I see Logan holding that wire at the corner, a bottle of Prime, taking the sip, whatever. I can envision it happening both ways, but Logan
Same with
has
the
done,
drone.
yeah, yeah, literally. Same with the drone. Logan has had some sort of moment like that with the drone or jumping off to the announce table or over the whatever. He's done something every match he's been in, and this is his first War Games, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So they're gonna make that moment. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, I could see Logan or Drew on the table and Jay jumps off through the
Mhm.
table or something. I mean, that's the beauty of it. This PLE is stacked. We are right around the corner from Cena's retirement, from the Rumble, the road to WrestleMania. The big question, besides who walks out Survivor Series as the C2 champion, is does the ending of Survivor Series kind of paint a picture for the WrestleMania main event? 2 years ago, when Sami Zayn, or was it 2 or 3 years ago when Sami Zayn helped the Bloodline, it helped paint that picture like, all right, this is working towards the main event of WrestleMania. CM Punk returns after War Games. It's like, all right, it seems they're setting up Punk rounds. We know he obviously gets hurt and that match doesn't happen, but does it happen here? Do we get that Roman Punk Cody moment where it's clear, okay, they're setting up that? Do we get something with Brock or Braun Breaker where it seems like, okay, they're setting up that? But when that happens, that show ends, we do know that I'm the new C2 Wrestling Champion.
I don't know about that. I think there will be a new champion on campus here at C2, but I think it's going to be your boy.
Again, it's good to dream, guys. It's good to dream, good to dream. But it ain't happening. It ain't happening. I'm carrying this belt to the Royal Rumble, to the main WrestleMania, and I will still be walking out as champion. I am very confident in my answers today and very confident in my predictions because the honorary Oos, is always right.
I mean, so far, you've been. Like, subscribe, and lastly, in honor of Roman and Brock being the main event, I think it's only right that we end this podcast with the three of us tug of warring over the C2 Wrestling Championship, just like in Roman Brock fashion. Catch you guys next time.
Hours.